Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate, this is Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper, and I have my February month in review for you today. Let's jump right in. It's gonna be a short one, I think, because I don't have any finishes and I read less than usual. I will be talking about the books I read towards the end of the video. I'm gonna get all the diamond painting stuff out of the way first, so if you're only here for that, it'll be the first thing you see, and then if you want to stick around for the book talk, that'll be afterwards. Okay, so first things first, my whips. As I mentioned, I didn't finish anything this month in February, but I kind of planned not to because I was working on two pretty big projects. I did think there was a possibility I could get one of them done. I just didn't end up having the time. So we'll start off with the one that I started first, which is Maleficent's Curse. This is the one I'm doing for my year of Disney. My friend Tiffany and I are both doing this, where we're always going to have a Disney kit in the rotation, and then once we finish the one we're working on, we're going to spin a wheel to see which one out of our stash we're going to start next, and we'll do that all year. So this one, Maleficent's Curse, I started on January 3rd. It is a square kit, and it's pretty big. It's 101.8 by 69.9 centimeters, so she's a big girl, but I'm having so much fun with it. It has a lot of color blocking, so it's going pretty fast actually, considering I'm over halfway done with it now, which I kind of didn't expect for how long I've been working on it, considering I'm also working on other kits at the same time. So I'm pretty happy with how it's going, and it's turning out so pretty, and it's really enjoyable to work on. So that is Maleficent's Curse by Disney from Diamond Art Club. The next one that I started is Red Riding Hood. I started this one January 14th. It's also a square kit. This one is by Sunset Dragon, and it's 52 by 92.6 centimeters. And I just loved the kind of Art Nouveau style of this one, and I was excited to work on it from the very first moment I saw it, so I knew I had to choose it for Fairy Tales and Folklore this year. So yeah, I did co-host my very first event with Katie, Diamonds and Washi. We did Fairy Tales and Folklore during the month of February, and it was so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it if you took part, and if you didn't participate, I hope you enjoyed seeing the videos that we put out that were full of just fun information about fairy tales and folklore. But yeah, I got just about half of this kit done before the end of February. I had hoped to maybe get a little bit more done on it, but I had a work project that took up a lot of my time in February, and I just didn't have as much time to diamond paint, and that's the way it goes. But I'm excited to continue working on both of these into March and beyond. I'm hoping that I will have at least one finish in March. Also, I apologize if you can hear my dog snoring. She is laying right down there, and she's just so relaxed. Last but not least, my third and final whip is Chocolate Dream by Miss Holly. I started this one the day before Valentine's Day on February 13th because it was just pushing all my buttons of something that seemed really fun to work on. So I just wanted to start it, so I did. This one is another square kit. It's 65 by 91.8 centimeters, and I'm having so much fun with it. I haven't gotten very much done on it yet because I have it weighted lower in my whip wheel, so it doesn't get selected as much, but whenever it does, I'm just always so excited to work on it. It's actually my first time working with frosted drills, and I am enjoying them so much. They have such a cool feel when you run your finger over them after they've been placed on the canvas, and I'm really just enjoying the tactile nature of that. I don't really have a plan in mind for when this one needs to be done. I'm just gonna keep working on it as the wheel spins it and enjoy it until it's finished. That's it for my whips. As far as what I'm doing in March, I have my whip wheel weighted so that Maleficent's Curse and Red Riding Hood are equal, but they both have more weight than Chocolate Dream. So far I've been rolling the two of those only in March, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll get to work on Chocolate Dream a couple of times, but either way, I'm hoping to finish one of the other two in March. Maybe both? we'll see how it goes. However, I do want to participate in Mini DP Madness and also Stoke Your Dragon Fire. Mini DP Madness is an event that's hosted by Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, Courtney, Michaela Renee, Kara the Principal Painter, and Ashley Messy Girl Crafts. And basically you just need to do a set of mini dazzles or 6 mini canvases for the event. And I think I can probably handle that in March. So I'm actually thinking I might do the Dragons mini dazzle set because that would cover both of those events and I could participate in both because I'd really like to support both events and that seems like a perfect way to do that. However, there is a dragon in Maleficent's Curse, so technically she counts because dragon. I'll be participating in that one either way. All right, now we're on to the section of what did I purchase in February? And this one's going to go real quick because, guys, I didn't purchase any diamond paintings in February at all. I don't know how I managed that. I just didn't buy anything. So, yeah, there you have it. That might be a first for me. It's definitely not going to be the case in March. All right, that is it for the diamond painting stuff. If that's all you were here for, thank you so much for checking in. And I will see you next time. And if you want to hear about the books that I read in February, stick around and we'll talk about those next. Okay, hello fellow readers. Thank you for sticking around. I'm excited to talk about what I read in February. I read 6 books this month, which is a little less than usual, but also at the same time, one of those was pretty short, so it was even less than that. And I just didn't have as much time to read or diamond paint in February, so there you have it. The first one I think what I was carrying over from January, and that is The Memory Collectors by Deet Meserve. I still don't know if I'm saying their name right, but this was a really just intriguing book. I loved the premise. Basically, it was about a group of people who get an opportunity to jump their consciousness back into their own body in a previous year and relive an hour's worth of their life. And they could make different choices than they had the first time, and it wouldn't affect the current timeline once they jumped back into their present day bodies. But something goes wrong, and they all get trapped in the past, and they're living as themselves, but with the knowledge they had from the present. You know, chaos ensues, but it's a really, really fun concept, and I love when books kind of talk about time travel and explore the different things that could happen with that. And this was no different. Although I do feel like it's a little less sci-fi than I was expecting and a little more like literary fiction because the focus was more on these characters' stories and the resolution that they all came to about the different things happening in their lives, both past and present, versus the actual technology of the time jump and what that means for humanity and all of the different things that would go into that. There was less focus put on that than just kind of these character relationships, which was still really fun to read about. I gave this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and it wasn't 100% what I was expecting, but I honestly didn't know what to expect when I started reading it. I just thought it sounded cool, so I liked it. After that, I read a really short little, I guess it's a novella. It's by Ali Hazelwood. It's called Two Can Play, and it is about a video game developer who gets the chance to pitch for the ability to work on a video game based on a set of books that she's loved since childhood. But there's another video game developer also trying to get that job, and one of the people on that team is someone that she's had kind of a strained relationship with over the years, but she definitely finds him attractive, so there's more going on there between the two of them, but they have to try to work together because if they can manage to get their teams to work together as a team, they can both work on this project. So it was a sweet little story and I really enjoyed it. I was trying out Hoopla, which is another app kind of like Libby. And so I just borrowed it from there and tried it out and it worked just fine. I might try and see if there's more there that I can borrow, but I'm kind of overwhelmed by the books I get from Libby anyway, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I gave this one 4 stars as well. I thought it was well done for a little kind of mini novel romance, and it was my first time reading Ali Hazelwood, and I liked it quite a bit. All right, the third book I read in February is called Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews, and again, my first time reading this author, and I liked this one as well. This one was a little bit more of a botanical horror, I think is what they're calling it, because it has a lot to do with plants and body horror and those two things kind of mixing together. But our point of view character, his name is Evander. He lives in a big mansion that's owned by his guardian. Only he, his guardian, and a kind of butler steward live in this big mansion, except for another boy who is his guardian's grandson, who is only there when he's not away at school. But then the guardian dies, and he actually leaves the entire estate and all of his wealth to Evander. But Evander is not 18 yet, so a family member who's an adult comes in to take over the estate until he comes of age. And this family member is not someone that he gets along with, and his relationship with the grandson of his guardian is pretty rough because apparently the grandson tried to kill Evander when Evander was just a kid, when they were both 11, I think, is what age they were. So there's something going on there. They're not allowed to interact with each other, but when this new person comes in and starts taking over the mansion, they really only have each other to take solace in because she's kind of a tyrant. And they're both trying to figure out what happened to the guardian because it doesn't seem like he died of natural causes, even though they're being told it was, I think, a heart attack or stroke. I can't remember. It's been a month. That's out of my mind. Things get a lot more crazy from there, and it definitely took a turn more into the horror end of things. So if horror is not your thing, I wouldn't recommend this one. But I do like horror every now and then, and I thought this was a really creative concept and really well executed. It did have a little bit at the end, some explanation that didn't quite explain things enough for me. And I can't say more because it's a spoiler, but I gave it 4 stars, so I still really enjoyed it. Next was another romance called If It Makes You Happy. This is by Julie Olivia, and it was set in 1997, and I thought it was really cute when I first started listening to the book. It listed off a whole playlist of suggested songs, all from the 90s, that you could listen to as like a soundtrack for the book. Of course, I was listening to it on audiobook, so I couldn't really listen to that soundtrack and the book at the same time, but I am familiar with pretty much all of those songs, so hearing those and keeping them in my mind while I was listening to the book put me in the right headspace for the time period the book was set in. But this is about a character named Michelle who comes to take over her mother's bed and breakfast in a small town after her mother passes away. And it wasn't in her life plan to do that. She is a very hardworking career woman in advertising in Seattle, and she has to fly all the way across country to Vermont, to this little town, to take over this bed and breakfast until her younger sister is out of college so that she can come and take it over fully. But while there, she meets the next door neighbor who is a baker, a divorced baker with 2 young daughters. One is, I think, 6 and the other one's 16. Yeah, they just kind of start talking, and he helps her out with the bed and breakfast. She helps him out as a babysitter for when his youngest gets out of school. And it's just a really feel-good romance. I enjoyed it a lot. The end had me in the feels. It was very well written, and I liked that it was a period piece. Just the vibes were there. This one I gave 5 stars. It's a bit longer, I would say, than most romance books are. So, I don't know, I really enjoyed the pacing. I think some people might think it was slow, but I tend to like really long, slow books. So that could be my bias showing there, but I just thought it was so much fun. Michelle has a dog called Rocket, and it's actually her ex-husband's dog that she kept. They have a funny relationship because she doesn't feel like he likes her that much, but in her mind, she's kind of hearing him speak and speaking back to him as if he's a person and had actually said these things that she imagines he's saying, and it's just a cute little thing that happens in the book that I really enjoyed. There was some of that typical romance communication kind of thing in the third act, but I thought it was done well in a way that wasn't like, oh my god, if you two would just talk to each other, you know, that typical trope. But they do actually talk to each other. They just don't know how to say what they're trying to say, and they don't know how to feel, and they're both trying to figure it out, and I think that's logical. I think it made sense. Really loved this one. Highly recommend it if you don't mind longer books that really kind of give this story time to breathe. So yeah, that's If It Makes You Happy by Julia Olivia. And fifth, I read Game Changer by Rachel Reed. This is the first in the Heated Rivalry series of hockey romances. I've never tried a hockey romance before, so I thought I'd try it out since everybody's really enjoying the show right now, and I can't get the show. I don't even know which network it's on, but I don't have that network, so I haven't been able to watch the show yet, so I thought I would try reading the books. And I did struggle a lot with the audiobook for this one because the narrator made some interesting decisions with the main character's accent and voice, and it just wasn't very enjoyable. The story itself was good. I thought it was very typical romance for the most part, nothing to really write home about. It was a gay romance, and I did enjoy kind of the addition of trying to fit that into the hockey world where it's very macho. So that was a point of tension for one of the main characters who is a hockey star. And I also liked the dynamic of them trying to figure out their relationship when he is a very famous and well-known person and the other person in the partnership is unknown. So he has to try to get used to being in a relationship with somebody who is very famous and can't really talk about his private life in the public sector. That part was interesting. I thought the book was good. I didn't think it was great, but maybe the series gets better as it goes. I gave this one 3 stars and might continue it at some point when the next one shows up for me in my Libby app. And the last book I read in February was a kind of memoir by Elise Myers, social media personality. You might have heard of her. She wrote this cute little book called That's a Great Question I'd Love to Tell You. And it's just kind of a series of little short stories about her experiences during her life, and some of them are written in a very creative way where they're only probably just a few pages long. It's hard to tell because I listened to the audiobook, but it wasn't just story into the next story into the next story. There were some things in there that kind of shook it up and made it very interesting and very easy to listen to. It's read by the author, which was really fun because I enjoy Elise Myers a lot and I relate to her social anxiety and her feelings of insecurity and things like that. So I really enjoyed getting to see from her perspective, and I thought this book was fantastic. It had me in tears at the end because it was so sweet. So I highly recommend this one. I gave it 5 stars. If you like reading kind of sort of memoirs, then check it out. But yeah, guys, that's all I had to talk to you about this month. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end if you did, and I will DAC you in my next video. Bye, everybody.